GM, everybody. We are back once again with another episode of State of the Art, this time with Arsonic. Arsonic, this is the first time I've got to put a face to the name, and we've been friends for 3+ years at this point. So number one, nice to meet you formally. And number two, where did you grow up?
Hey, nice to meet you as well. I grew up near Quebec City in a little town called Albert. It's a very small town. It's a rural part of Quebec City, I would say. I did study in the city, though. I was doing art and sport back then. And then I actually moved to Montreal in my early 20s.
So how did you get into art as a kid?
Yeah, actually, college, I did my art and media. Always been hooked to some arts. I was doing computers in my very young age. I think I started playing on computers around 8. I was playing with Photoshop in his early version. I think it was 1 point something. It was very early. So I always been playing around Photoshop. I did some ASCII and C arts. So yeah, art's always been around myself, and I did art and media in college.
So how would you describe your creative process these days?
For paper stuff, creative process, I would say a lot based around what I see in the actualities on Twitter and stuff like that. Some ideas would grab my attention, and then I will just jump into it, start drawing something, get to a final result. I would say two creative process. Sometimes I do a collage of pictures and stuff that I then move back to Illustrator and bring to a vector style, or I will be drawing itself directly on my computer with a mouse.
Oh, back up a second. You draw with a mouse? You don't use like a Apple Pen and Procreate?
Yeah, I just bought my son an Apple Pen, and I think I will need to move to that. But yeah, I've been creating.
You've been doing it all from a mouse this whole time. That's insane.
Yeah.
You use a normal, like, lightweight mouse? Use a vertical mouse? What's the mouse of choice here?
It's a normal lightweight mouse, yeah. So there's a lot of erasing and go back because it's not doing very straight lines.
I think
it's probably why my art is a bit messy. I like to keep it messy that way, but it's probably a reason why.
You just blew my mind right up. I did not expect you to say, oh, I draw with the mouse. I don't think I know people who do like shapes, and they'll make shapes in Illustrator, but like drawing freehand with the mouse is quite...
It's probably taking me twice the time, but I'm old school like that.
But you get like a unique vibe from it. Like you can't recreate that with a picture perfect pencil sketch or picture perfect shapes.
Yeah, I will probably struggle to make those lines crooked with a perfect pen. I don't know. I'll need to try.
No, and then another thing that you do really well that won't show in the Escher drop, but shows across your creative history is the generative art side. How you said early on at a young age, you had a love of computers. You've been working with computers for your whole life, basically. How did you get into the generative art side of things? Because I think of Unigrids as like one of the first projects on Art Blocks, one of the first things I minted, one of my first introductions to you, but definitely curious how the generative art creation side came up.
Yeah, the gen art came up. Actually, I was working on a project, a blockchain project called Lux. I'm sure you know it. But on that project, I was working with Snowfro, actually on the smart contract part of things. So that's where I met him. And of course, he introduced me to Art Blocks when he was building it. I helped him to test it and stuff like that. And then while we were chatting, he incited me to try and look into gen art. That's where the inspiration, I would say, came. It came from Eric Snowfro. And yeah, from there we did the Unigrids. Because it's a duo. It's me and it's another guy I was working with on Lux. And we did Unigrids, and we tried to push the limits of it a little bit over there when we did it.
I think when I think of Unigrids, I think of the first on-chain generative music. Is that maybe? I don't know if that's... blockchain history is often tough. But when I think of Unigrids, I feel like there's like a seminal moment of, oh, these art blocks can have sound, and the sound can be something that you want to listen to and not just something more generated and random.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was definitely not perfect at first for the first try. I think some people did it a lot better after, but we're very happy
You set
to
the
be one
spark,
of
right?
yeah, yeah.
People see it and they're like, holy shit, this is possible.
Exactly.
And before someone does it, it's more of you don't even think of it, and then you get the idea like, oh, I can iterate on this. So I just thought it was cool. Oh, hey, because that was my first introduction to you as a creator. I had known you a little bit from the Top Shot days. Shout out Andy, and I realized, oh wait, he's an artist. Like I thought he was just a DJ.
Exactly. I'm both.
It's rare. It's rare that you have the artist who is also like a very successful DJ too. It's normally like one or the other.
Yeah, I started in crypto as an investor. I bought my bitcoins in 2015. I learned how to trade. I learned some TAs before diving in blockchain stuff and then NFTs. So yeah, have touched pretty much everything in crypto.
Have you always been making like memes or funny things throughout the whole time? Like even in the early days before you were minting any NFTs or art? Just
Yeah, it's
I,
always been something I've been doing. Yeah, if you dig into my Twitter and in the whole days, Pepe was always present, and even Top Shot, I did that, call these other kind of memes, and yeah, it always had fun to do those stuff.
so how would you describe your artistic style then? Because I feel like you have a pretty wide range of outputs.
Yeah, the Gen Hard is probably the more serious part of me. It's where I would say I put more thought in the process, and I will do concept art there, and then we'll evaluate how possible it is, and more of a normal process. In that way, for the Pepe stuff, it's how do I would say more. I would say I'm a degen in art too. Is that something? I just go with whatever I have in mind and put it over there on the screen and try to make something out of it. I mean, it doesn't happen. Sometimes it does happen. So I've tons of stuff that I never release because it's too bad. But yeah.
Do you, I have a question I think I know the answer to, but I gotta ask. What is your favorite color?
It's actually red. It's
Oh,
not, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. As funny as it is, favorite color is red. Pepe is something, I don't know why it always ring a bell to me.
The green shirt. I saw the green
Oh,
shirt and I was thinking like, is it green? It really goes with the Pepe vibe.
everything, yeah. The wall, everything's today. It's green.
So you're somebody who is very online, very in the degen streets, but what would you say are some of your biggest creative inspirations, and maybe how have they changed over the years from when you were just starting out in college, messing around with a little media here and there till now?
Yeah, college, I was doing more probably painting. I did some, actually have some painting I should probably bring out some days. I was doing more abstract stuff, not Pollock style, but a bit like that, more playing with colors than real stuff. I'm not, funny thing is I'm not too good at drawing real stuff with a pen or paint. I was doing abstract and it changed. I actually changed more recently with the drop on 6529 main memes. That happened. We were doing a Gen Hart project with them for the collections, and while we were chatting, just drew Surge and Pepe for fun, and we decided to release it. And after that, after seeing people liking it, I decided to draw a little more. And yeah, it really came from that. It's really new for me to push some arts that way into the public. I used to do memes before, like you said, but nothing too serious or something.
Sergeant Pepe very quickly became one of the most sought after cards in the meme collection. And I think it was the first time that I realized, holy shit, Arsonic doesn't just make generative art.
Yeah, it's funny. With Sergeant Pepe, it's actually the drop that kind of started the run on the memes. It's pure coincidence, I think. But yeah, a lot of people had fun saying it was because in the threads I have a superpower is summoning green candles, so a lot of people had fun with that. That Sergeant Pepe brought in green candles. Yeah, and after that, snowball to a lot of stuff that I've been doing. I've kept doing memes, but on my time on my time with maybe more work into them. I used to just do little collage of Pepe, but now I'm drawing them instead. Yeah.
It's definitely been something where watching your evolution is like a friend on the side is blowing my mind in the sense I'm like, oh, he's a degen. Oh, he's a generative artist. Oh, he draws. Oh, he draws with his mouse.
Exactly. Now I'm going backward. I think I reached the top.
But next, I'm gonna learn that you got the iPad pencil in between your big toe and your index toe, and you're drawing on the floor with the iPad while coding a generative art with your fingers.
That's it.
I kind of want to ask a little bit about the Escher edition that you're dropping. I'm going to share my screen. You shared some pieces with me, like some work in progresses, an early V1, etc. So I want you to just walk us through some of these. So I'm going to start here, window, and I'm going to bring up, which let me know when you see it. But I believe this was the first V1 of what was to be the final drop that, or the final piece that is going to drop on 420. So do you want to walk me through, were you like coming down off amphetamines, or what was the state of mind when this V1 came to be?
Yeah. Like I said before, I have tons of stuff that will never see the day. And actually this one was part of those. It's something I worked on around the Surgeon Pipit drop. Actually, a little before, I think. One of my cult movie when I was younger, it was Fair Looting in Las Vegas. That was the inspiration for it. That's why it's probably looking like it done from. So that was the first draft I did. I wanted to do a version of if you ever seen the poster of that movie, there's a guy with big glasses, a bit distorted. I wanted to reproduce with Pepe look, of course. So that was the first draft I would say that I draw.
It's like Hunter S. Pepsin or something. And then I believe from this rough sketch, the second piece is this one. You started going from just the green and the red with quite a bit of the earthy neutral shades in the eyebrows, accenting it, drawing our attention there, to this one, which is much more of psychedelic, vibrant, trippy vibe.
Yeah, more of an LSD vibe.
Yeah, like you're coming down off amphetamines, and then the 2 tabs of acid that you took are starting to kick in.
Exactly.
And then from here,
yeah, that was actually the final version of the V1 that I recouped to start working again on it for the Escher drop, and I did the first version that you probably have somewhere after.
Yeah, and then so from there, it took a different form. This is green, but maybe not clearly Pepe. And then I would say in the next form, it's a frog-ish. Like you look at this one.
Yeah,
it's becoming more.
It's coming more, yeah, a bit more Pepe, but I still wanted to keep the, let's say, human aspect of it a bit. So yeah, what I did is I put the other version in my Illustrator and I started drawing it just on the side. And to be honest, between the time I did Surgeon Pepe and now, I did acquire more experience, I would say. So I started adding more crazy stuff. Rainbows would do great, and the face shape was a bit better now as well. I think I added some stuff in the mouth to look like, yeah, the guy is taking a lot of stuff and dripping. So yeah, that was the first. It's not the exact first draft, but it's what I had saved on my computer. It's probably a couple of hours in for sure, and then we can see the final version where I had better colors to make it stand out a little more.
I got messed up here. I think Twitter did me dirty on the quality here because it looked way better in the message that you sent me, and now when I zoom in, I'm gonna grab.
It pixelized a bit, but it's all right.
It's Twitter is just not always the most conducive platform to keeping the fidelity of the image to the artist's intent. Okay. They're very.
People will need to come and see it on Escher, so that's fine.
That's what we're trying to do. I just believe. Sorry, I'm gonna actually fix this though, so we can at least screen share the higher quality one because that cut this and fix that. My bad.
Yeah, but yeah. So what I did is I took the version we just saw, and the color palette was not what I wanted. I think after looking at it, So I made it more fluorescent colors.
There we go. That one looks better than the first one.
Something that will look good probably under black lights. When I was young, I used to have black lights in the room, so that's where the idea comes from.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that will do great over there. And then, yeah, I try to stay a bit away of the meme, even though you can see there's some Pepe references in there. For Escher, I try to do more conventional art as it is conventional.
As conventional as it can get.
Yeah, exactly. Because eventually I want to do other stuff as well. So I don't want everyone to think I'm only doing Pepe's. You'll probably see more.
Where did the quote "too weird to live, too rare to die" come from?
It comes from the movie, actually.
It comes from the movie too.
Yeah, it comes from the movie.
So, have you felt the impacts of psychedelics in your own life, in your own creative process? Or is it more of you look at a character like Hunter S. Thompson and you may admire some of the qualities that they exude based off of the drugs they're under the influence of, but you don't want to partake in that yourself? Like, how is the connection to you with the psychedelia vibes?
No, yeah, I had my days when I was younger. I'm getting old now for that, but like I said, I used to have black lights in the room. I did experience a lot of stuff when I was younger, so there's definitely something there that's coming from.
Do you feel like it helps you pull from those memories of when you were younger when it comes to creating something like this, because you can put yourself back in your shoes?
Probably when I draw it, I probably think, oh, that would be cool if you're on the influence on something, and yeah, like I said, I could see it on the black lights and not the clouds, but the smoke coming out the eyes. So yeah, definitely that helps. I would say I was not on the influence on anything to draw it, but yeah, I did experience when I was younger.
Yeah, I know people who will tell me they like take psychedelics and create. I can't even look at a screen. I feel like I'm like melting. I don't really want to create on a screen. I know people who will be like, yeah, I took 3 grams of mushrooms and did Photoshop or Illustrator for 4 hours. And I'm like, how did you not?
The thing probably look at the screen for 2 hours and a half doing nothing, and then it do for 30 minutes.
Then it comes to you.
Exactly.
This is more of the process now. I can feel that for sure. I feel like this piece makes me want to eat a gram of mushrooms and vibe. It's a very 420 friendly piece here as we're quickly approaching one of our favorite holidays in the space. So I have a couple questions, not exactly related to this piece, but just more related to experiences as a creator and day-to-day life and that type of stuff. So I'm going to take my share screen off. But before that, I wanted to show the freedom to transact. Most people may have seen this. Maybe they aren't familiar with it, but this is the piece that kind of started, at least in my head, the Pepe Arsonic arc. And I wanted to shout that out while it's on the screen. So let me stop that. And my next question for you is, what has been your most memorable moment as an artist so far?
Most memorable, I would say, I don't know, probably when the art blocks grid got on Sotheby's and Christie's. Even though it's not that important with 3, it was actually pretty cool because it was at the beginning, and I think it was one of the first NFT projects to be auctioned in those kind of houses. That was very cool. Surgeon Pepe's success was very nice too. I was not expecting it at all. It was, like you said, was my first drawing that I was putting out there, and I had no idea what to expect. That's another one. And most recently, being contacted by the Marilyn Monroe and Muhammad Ali IPs, you can be not happy about that. It's been amazing. I'm more than grateful for everything that's happening to me right now.
I got 2 questions. Number 1, how did the 6529 collab come up? Did you know 6529 early on? Was it more of you submitted the meme ahead of time and they were like, hell yeah, that's awesome, let's include it? Like, how did that collab come up? Because it was one of the first cards, right? Or in my head, it's one of the...
Yeah, it was, I think, the 30 something, but it was actually when people started catching up on them. So a lot of people...
Just token ID 37 when I checked the chain.
Okay. But yeah, I knew 6529 from the Unigrids. He did bought one for me back then. I had a couple of chat with him since then. And when he started, 6.5 to 9 collections for the memes, I reached out to him about I wanted to do a Gen Hart project for the memes. He thought it was a great idea. It's something that we're close to show as well. It took a longer time than we thought, but it's coming. And while we were doing that, we were chatting one night, and then I decided to draw a little something that I showed to him. He made some suggestions to push it a little bit. So then I came back with Surgeon Pip, and he said, "All right, it's good enough. Let's push it out there." I had no intention. I was just doing it for fun. So it was a surprise when he said we'll be launching it. Yeah, it started.
It's like serendipitous. Like you just made it. It was a fun meme to get out there, show it to them, and they're like, "This slaps. We should put this in."
Exactly. And then he had a great success. So yeah, grateful that he did put it out there.
For the Marilyn Monroe collab, how did that come up? Because that kind of caught me out of left field. You DM me and you're like, "Hey, we're dropping some stuff with Marilyn Monroe's like IP." I'm like, what? How'd this happen?
Yeah, they actually reached out to me. That as surprising as it is, the art director over there saw actually the Unigrids, and they wanted to do some on-chain stuff, and that's what we're good at. I don't think there's many people who do fully on-chain Gen Hart, so we're definitely top of their list, and they reach out to us with the idea of doing a Marilyn Monroe one. And I think even though the people around don't like big IPs, I don't know why, but they're not very popular because most of them are just come and extract some ETH and leave. But I think with the Marilyn Monroe, they are trying to do what's right. They wanted to do on chain. They wanted to do a series. There will probably be more stuff for holders over there that are coming. But I did accept to. I mean, who could not accept to do a collab with Marilyn Monroe?
No, that's legendary. I love that they saw what you'd already done and sought you out. I had no idea. Did you just like a cold DM? Like you just woke up one day and you're like, what the fuck is this? Marilyn, nah, this is bullshit. And then you click it and you're like, wait, maybe it isn't bullshit. Like they look like they're real people.
It looked funny at surface. At first, it was. I think it's druids from art blocks that reached out to me, and I took a day to answer because I was trying to look if it was a scam or not. Is it the right druids or something like that? So definitely took me by surprise. And like I said, the guys saw Unigrids. That's why in Marilyn Monroe there's a Unigrid pattern in them that they wanted to include, which I thought was great. It's something I would never have the guts to suggest to put my art with Marilyn Monroe, but they actually suggested it, and then it was crazy happy about that.
I'm going to share my screen again here just so that people can see what we're talking about. Do a little screen share. So I actually have it sorted by the Unigrids pattern. And you can definitely. It's actually the rarest pattern too.
It is, made sure it was.
I love like the little Easter eggs you get when you're looking through a collection, and you're like, oh, the Unigrids one made by the creators.
If you go on the one, if you click on the one, they also move. If you spacebar,
They're spacebar. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they actually move. Same for Unigrids pattern. They move as the Unigrids are. Yeah.
What is your favorite base shot of Marilyn Monroe here?
My favorite one is probably the one that you were on right now, bottom right. Oops, sorry. This one. I'm sorry.
This one?
The one with the dots. Yeah, this.
Very similar vibe to maybe the piece that you're dropping on Escher. Maybe she's not on psychedelics and amphetamines, but it's got very high energy, smiling, loving life.
Yeah, and I would have done way more than that silhouettes, but since everything's on chain, it costs money to put everything on.
Yeah, what was the biggest challenge with this project, getting it on chain? Because I think maybe when people look at it, they don't maybe realize the tech that works behind it. It's just a lot of people, sadly, in the space, they go on OpenSea, they'll look at the static thumbnail, they won't go in and hit space or learn about the tech. Like what was the biggest challenge in creating this?
100% what you're saying. A lot of people will look at them and say it's low efforts because of course you can put a full image since it's too big to get on chain. And the biggest challenge with any on chain project is to have it fit on the chain without costing you thousands of dollars. The script for this one, I think it was around 4 or 5 ETH to push it on chain. So yeah, at some point you need to put a stop on what you want to add.
You're like, guys, we could put it all on chain. It's going to be $1 million.
Exactly. So yeah,
A
biggest
fine balance.
Exactly. The challenge is to have something looking good. You always need to compromise. There's tons of stuff I would have liked to do, but I can do it since it's on chain. But at the end of the day, I think hopefully people will realize the tech one day and see the value in it, in what we are doing.
Bring up some unigrids for the people watching and not maybe knowing what unigrids were. Pulled those up too. I think they're iconic. I'm a little biased.
The challenge with unigrids was definitely the music on chain. Like you said, we're probably in the first ones to do it. Like you, I never like to say the first because you never know, but we're definitely in the first one.
Yeah. That's the thing I have with blockchain history is that, yeah, it is all in chain and it's all happened, but we're so ignorant sometimes that we're like, yeah, of course it's the first. So it's the first I heard. So yeah. I like to just call it one of the first, but exactly. I love how you chose like the 420 supply. So it's a 421, but like it ends on Unigrid 420.
Yeah, I wanted to do it's 421 because we have the mint zero. But
it's the important things. It's like the important things.
It's some things that I always do. If you remember during the Top Shot days, I used to, if I was to list something, it was always ending up with 69 or it's the important stuff, like you said.
The memes have always been a part of you, even when you were putting out something generative. It's like, well, I can control the supply variable and I'm going to make the supply variable a meme. God damn it. So it goes full circle to the Escher drop on 420. It's just,
I'm super happy. Yeah. For the beatbox, I did the same. I did 2 times 420, but the prices were all memes like 0.69 or 4.2 or stuff like that.
You have to. That was one of the things when we were speccing out the product for Escher. I told the team that we need 5 figures after the decimal always. Because if I can't see the .42069, like it's not good enough. Like on Super Rare Foundation, they round it and it's no, I didn't bid 0.421. I bid 42069. So it's just like, those little things are important.
And when I buy stuff, if they're too close one to each other, I'll probably grab the one with 42069. So
yeah, or your collection offer, your bid is always going to represent. I mean, for me, those are all the questions I had. Are there any things you want to tell the audience that we may have missed, either about the piece or about yourself or the creative process that you feel like is important to get across?
I think creative process, we did a good round. About myself, I don't know. If people want to reach out to me, it's something I really like to do. Chat with the collectors and chat with the people. My DMs will probably go nuts, but you can reach out to me anytime on Twitter. I try to answer to everyone. I like to meet everyone of my collectors. So don't be shy. Don't be shy to interact with me. Don't be shy to tag me on Twitter and ask me to do crazy stuff. More recently, I'll probably start doing drawing from people that tag me in images, do some memes from them and post them.
So I didn't start tagging you with my shit posts?
Yeah, exactly. If you want me to
all right, note to
draw
self.
Something, I did one with a picture recently and I thought it's funny. People really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's something I would post. To do it, it would be called Arsonification. Just on Twitter, but yeah, it's ideas I will.
How did that's a question I want to ask before I end. How did your name come up? And is it pronounced, I'm assuming it's Arsonic, but
yeah, it's Arsonic, yeah.
How did you come up with the name? We'll end with that.
Coming from, I actually used that one since I'm 14 or 15 years old. And it's coming from a snowboard, a skateboard, a clothing company that is called Arson.
Gotcha. So you weren't lighting things on fire and then experimenting with arsenic and being like, what if I call myself?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's coming from a clothing.
The clothing brand. Sick. No, I think that's a great way to wrap it up. Nice and lighthearted. Thank you for coming onto the show and vibing with us. And I'm excited for the drop.